Okay, so today we're going to try to get the Toyota Tundra running. In the last video, all of you, or many of you commented very helpfully that it might be the grounds that are rusty, which is why it wasn't working. But unfortunately, I tested all the grounds and I'm getting power, so I think it is the starter, meaning we have to take off the throttle body, the manifold there, the fuel lines, the fuel injectors, and a couple of other things to get to the starter. So it's a pretty big and annoying job, but I'll take you guys along for the journey. And quickly I will just show you what happens when I try to start the engine. So just listen closely. Alright, I'm going to turn the key now. So it just clicks. Let's start unbolting this engine. Alright, so this is going to be a long job. I'll put text on the bottom as to what I'm doing at the moment, but this is mainly going to be a time lapse because this will probably take me about 2 or 3 hours. Let's get started. Alright, everything's going smoothly so far. On to the fuel injectors. So that was very difficult, but I finally got all the fuel injectors unplugged. Now it's time to remove the throttle assembly. Alright, everything's unbolted. Let's see if we can lift up this exhaust manifold, or intake manifold. Okay, so there it is. The intake manifold's out. It's right there. It's a two-person job because this thing's pretty hefty and you gotta wiggle it out. But as you guys can see, looks like a mouse nest is in here, so I've got to clear that out. Cover up all the holes with paper towels just so that nothing gets in there. And we'll replace the starter, which is right there. Stupidest place to put a starter ever. I don't know what Toyota was thinking. Here's what I found in the starter in the engine bay. Dead mouse. Maybe this guy chewed through some wire or something, messed up the freaking starter. Let's get him out of here. Okay, let's see if I can get the starter out of here. Alright, so here's the starter. It was very, very difficult to take out because the teeth here were seized to the flywheel, if you guys can tell by how they look. So I banged a hole in here to try to rotate it, but I got it rotating, but apparently it wasn't this that was rotating because this is still seized. And then of course this corroded through, which is probably the issue in the first place of why it wasn't working, because it's basically corroded through. So all seized and broken, and then seized to the flywheel. So it took me about an hour, or maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to take this out, but I got it. So let's put the new one in tomorrow. Alright, so now I'm going to hook up the new starter and just test to make sure that it works. Alright, it's hooked up. I'm going to turn the engine over really quickly to see if it does anything. Woo! There we go. It worked. Alright, so there you guys can see. Brand new starter in there. Hooked up, working well. Let's go ahead and throw this engine back together real fast. Okay, I think I got everything plugged in. Let's see if it starts. I'm pretty sure, but if it doesn't start, then we know we're missing something. something leaking. Okay, one of the fuel lines was messed up. I tried to put it back on. I may have just messed it up more though. So, let's see if it starts. Alright, I bought a new fuel line. Let's see if we can hook it up and get this guy running by tonight. Alright, so I got the fuel line on in there, the new one. Let's hope it starts. Alright, so it ran and the engine sounded good. However, as you saw, it was pulsing quite a bit. And that's because there's another fuel leak all the way down in there. It's one of the metal lines and it's rusted through, so it's only pulling in fuel some of the time when you give it gas. That's going to be for another video though, because I don't... it's dark out now and I don't want to replace that fuel line. So anyway, thanks for watching this one. You saw me put the starter in. It took me a really long time, and it was a much more difficult job than it should have been due to the corrosion. But we got it done, and the starter works. So that's all good. Too bad for the fuel line leak, but we'll get her fixed. Thanks for watching.